So Apple just wrapped up the first event of 2021, which was on 4/20. Okay, I really hope it's just a coincidence. Anyways, let's take a deep dive and explore all that Apple announced. Okay, so low-key, I think this was the best Apple event in a long time. And I think a lot of other tech YouTubers could agree, because by the time the event was over, just from tech YouTubers, I had 77 Twitter notifications. Yep. So let's dive into it, and I'll give you my honest thoughts. Before we move on with the rest of the video, I just want to let you guys know that I know the quality looks a little bit different because I'm actually shooting this video entirely on my iPhone XR because both my camera batteries decided they wanted to be dead tonight. So yeah, just recording this thing entirely on my iPhone, but hopefully the quality is okay. I'm recording at 4K 60, so maybe it'll be a little bit better. I don't know. I'm not going to switch over to full mobile setup though. Anyways, let's get on with the rest of the video. Okay, so let's talk about the minor things first, and then we'll talk about the real product announcements. So Apple started off the event by talking about the Apple Card. So if you don't know, Apple Card is basically just Apple's version of a credit card, kind of, you know, what it sounds like. And basically all that's new is you can now share a credit line with people in your family, and you can also now have more advanced restrictions for teens inside the Wallet app. But that's basically it. Second minor announcement is that Apple Podcast subscriptions, which is basically what it sounds like. A subscription service that podcast producers can add to their shows more to make them more premium. And that's about it. Next minor announcement is the new Apple Podcast app, which is barely new, but new. And last was just some trailers for some new Apple TV Plus shows. And that's about it. So let's get on to the real announcements. Okay, so now let's get on to the real announcements. Starting with the most minor of the major announcements, which is a new purple color for the iPhone 12 and iPhone 12 mini. And that's literally it. It's just a purple color. Yeah, okay. Maybe that could have fit in with the minor announcements, but moving on. Now let's get into the real new product announcements. Starting with something us enthusiasts have been waiting for Apple to announce for probably close to 3 years now. But finally, Apple has announced AirTags. So these are basically going to be the biggest competitor to Tile. And I'm legitimately thinking about switching over to these. Now, you guys might know that I am a huge Tile user. I have one on my keys. I have one in my wallet. I literally rely on these things to remember where all my stuff is, and it is so helpful. But Apple's integration with iPhone might actually port me over. I don't know. So AirTags start at just $30 for one, which isn't actually overpriced, surprisingly. And you can actually get a 4-pack of these for $100, which that's not too bad either. And these will be available to order starting this Friday and will be available to pick up in stores on April 30th. Now let's talk about the new Apple TV 4K. This is a much needed upgrade. So there are 3 major things about this new Apple TV that I want to highlight. First thing is the processor. This gets an upgrade to the A12 Bionic chip, which is the same chip from the iPhone XS, iPhone XS Max, and the iPhone XR, which of course is the device I am recording this entire video on, and a pretty major upgrade from the previous A10X Fusion chip. I believe that was the chip. Yeah. Now the second thing is the new color balance mode. So to enable this, all you do is hold your iPhone up to your TV to calibrate the color for your specific model of TV. And then the final thing to highlight is the new remote. Probably the best thing about the new Apple TV, and a major upgrade over the old Siri remote, due to a dedicated power button for your TV, a dedicated mute button, dedicated back button, and a side-mounted Siri trigger, making the remote feel even more like an iPhone. So the Apple TV 4K starts at $180 for 32 gigs of storage, and you can upgrade to 64 gigs for an extra $20. Not too bad. Okay, next thing they announced is the new iMac. Finally. We have been waiting for a new iMac for way too long, and this is a pretty major upgrade. So disclaimer, this is only for the smaller iMac. The 27-inch is still in the same chassis body design it has been in for nearly 10 goddamn years, but maybe we will see that at WWDC. Who knows? But this is surely a step in the right direction. So the biggest thing is that the base iMac is now up to a 24-inch display, and it is no longer a 21.5-inch display, which is a good start, but it still has that giant, ugly ass chin. But you know what? I'm kind of willing to make that trade-off for the rest of this really nice looking design and that larger display. So the iMac comes in 7 colors, up from the previous 1. And those new colors include green, yellow, orange, pink, purple, blue, and silver. That's a lot of colors. And of course, the bigger news with this iMac is that it now has the M1 chip. And Apple says that this is the first Mac built from the ground up with M1 in mind. The accessories get a big upgrade as well. The Magic Keyboard now has wireless Touch ID built into the lock button, and the base Magic Keyboard now has a dedicated lock button, dictation, and emoji button, and of course all the accessories are color matched to your iMac color choice. Of course, they could have fixed the biggest issue with the Magic Mouse and moved the lightning port off the bottom of the thing, but they still didn't do that, so they up again. No surprise. So the iMac starts with an 8-core CPU and 7-core GPU with 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage for $1,300, which is okay, not great. But if you want to upgrade from there, you can upgrade to an 8-core GPU at that same storage and RAM level for $1,500. And if you want 512 gigs of storage from there, you're looking at $1,700, which is pretty steep. So the new iMac will be available to pre-order starting April 30th and will be available in stores in the second half of May. And finally, the last thing to come out of the event was the new iPad Pro. So this was probably the best announcement out of the entire event. And I'm not just saying that because of how much they hyped this thing up. So the biggest thing with the new iPad Pro is the fact that it also now has that M1 chip, which should give it a huge performance and graphical advantage compared to other tablets. It also makes the Surface Pro 7 look really bad with its garbage dual-core i3. Like, why is this a thing in 2021? A couple other notable things with this new iPad Pro: the cellular models now have 5G support, and the max storage is now 2 terabytes in an iPad. So let's break down the pricing because it is confusing to say the least. So the 11-inch starts at $800 for 128 gigs of storage, which actually isn't all that bad. And you could jump up to 256 gigs for $900, 512 for $1,100, 1 terabyte for $1,500, and the 2 terabytes. While it sounds nice to have 2 terabytes of storage, it is not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. For just the 11-inch, you're going to pay $1,900 for the 2 terabyte model. And if you want cellular, don't forget to add an extra $200 onto that for all of these models. And for the 12.9-inch, you get 128 gigs for $1,100, which is a little bit up from the previous one. It's like $100 more than what it used to be, which I think it was $1,000 for 128 gigs last year. Of course, it was $1,000, $100 overdone. But then you can upgrade to 256 gigs for $1,200, 512 for $1,400, 1 terabyte for $1,800, and 2 terabytes for, get this, $2,200. That is insane. And of course, if you want cellular, add another $200 onto that. So if you want to get the fully spec'd out 12.9-inch iPad Pro with cellular and 2 terabytes of storage, you are looking at $2,400 for an iPad. That is insane. So the new iPad Pro has the same pre-order and availability dates as the new iMac. So a couple things to look forward to on those dates. But that's it. That's everything that Apple announced out of this whole event. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you guys smash the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button down below, follow me on Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and I promise I will have my camera batteries charged for the next video. But yeah, I'll go and catch you guys in the next one. Peace.